Now, I've been running my own clothing brand here for about a year now, and I have learned so much along the way, especially how other clothing brands tend to rip a lot of people off, which is why I'm here today to share with you 5 ways that clothing brands are ripping you guys off. Let's get into it. Number 1, artificial scarcity. This is a classic marketing tactic used for brands to get you to buy as quickly as possible. A lot of this is done on the e-commerce side of things, and you will see this on a lot of lower end fast fashion stores. Bigger examples are Shein and Fashion Nova. Every time you hit their website, you are bombarded with sales, pop-ups, percentages off, a whole lot of stuff that they want you to buy as quickly as possible, because there is this FOMO that if you miss this sale, it's never coming back, which they usually do, whether it's next day, next hour, or even just refreshing the page. You can probably reset a lot of countdowns. And this is even more egregious on a lot of people who run e-commerce drop shipping clothing brands. Well, they'll just put like they have 1 or 2 items in stock, when that's not necessarily the case, when they're probably just drop shipping it from AliExpress or Alibaba, which have hundreds, maybe even thousands of units of that item in stock. What they're trying to get you to do is to buy as quickly as possible and more items so they can increase their average order value, yet objectively, it may not be something that you're actually looking for, that additional item, accessory, whatever it may be. They just want you to fill that out so you can get free shipping or extra money off, and that can leave you with items in your closet that you don't end up wearing and you end up trashing later on, which is not a great investment if you don't get any wears or substance out of that item. Number 2, overpriced basics. This is a bit of an oxymoron, because the basics and essentials of your wardrobe are the stuff that's going to be worn the most and fit with the most amount of style. It's a very foundational. And for the past few years, we've gone into a trend of a little less fast fashion and a little bit more sustainable quality stuff, which I am all for. The issue is that brands, they're smart. They know that this is great marketing, great buzzwords, so we can jack up the prices on a lot of foundational basics and essentials. Paying something like $50 to $60 for a good quality basic shirt, which has a little bit better fabric than the fast fashion stuff, is completely ridiculous. Now, that sustainability, built to last, it's all great, and brands know this, and they really incorporate a lot into their advertising, which can help them justify charging a little bit more of a premium, because they get you on the emotional front that, oh, you're helping the environment, and that you're also getting something that's long-term and sustainable. So if you're going to get more wears out of it and it's going to last longer, it should be more expensive. However, the issue is that regular fabrics versus using higher quality fabrics, when it comes down to the cost per unit, it's really around a 20% price difference. I know for myself, when I was developing the clothing for my brand, the difference between me using regular cotton and something like French terry cotton was literally a 45-cent difference in total price. That's why I think you should be a little bit more objective when you're looking for your basics. Don't really go into the overpriced side of things, even if it's from a designer brand or even more classic menswear options, until you've researched the fabrics and stitching quality in the actual item itself before making an objective decision whether this is something worth it. And if you guys are looking for a place to find affordable menswear basics that go up to 3XL that do use quality fabrics at a reasonable price, be sure to head over to shopgp.ca. We're doing a massive restock of over 250 units. It's going to be spectacular. Number 3, luxury doesn't equal quality. Now, this is something that I see a lot of people fall into. They assume that they're luxury brands like Dior, Louis Vuitton, Christian Louboutin, that are automatically quality high-end pieces. They do charge a premium on it, and that can fool a lot of people who don't do their research. It can be very easy to assume just because an item is scarce and expensive, it must have a lot more intrinsic value than something else. But that's not necessarily the case. We know Louis Vuitton manufactures now all their bags in China. We know basically Christian Dior uses a supplier on Alibaba. Now, I'm not saying everything put out by luxury brands is objectively horrible. Of course not. But it doesn't mean that that extra price that you're paying is more value in the actual item itself. There's always going to be a law of diminishing return. Let's take a leather jacket, for example. Very classic Example, you buy $100 faux leather jacket from H&M, and then you go out and buy, let's say, a $1,500 jacket, full grain leather. Is that $1,100 difference worth it? Yes. That real leather jacket, that's going to last a while. That's going to age beautifully. And if you take care of it, it's probably going to last decades. That $1,100 additional is quite justified, especially if you're going to wear it consistently. Now let's take that $1,200 jacket and let's say we go to a $7,000, $8,000 Tom Ford leather jacket. Is the objective quality of it worth that additional price difference? Probably not. It's jumped so much in price difference, yet the quality may be gone up marginally. That's why you can't really fully rely on big designer brands and names to assume that it is going to be worth. Are you going to get more validation and recognition out of it? Yes. Are you going to feel like a big shot walking into a Tom Ford retailer or wherever and really getting that item? Yes. But that's how they get you from the social aspect of things, the validation, rather than the objective quality of the actual items. Number 4, overpriced graphic tees and sweats on low quality blank. Now, this is something that has persisted for a while now, 2 years now, just how popular graphic shirts have gotten. And I see a lot of brands, what they're doing is they'll put out amazing artwork on their shirts and people get really sucked into it because they're really in love with it. They might find a perfect outfit, perfect pair of sneakers to wear with it, but where they get you is to skirt on the actual shirt itself by making sure it's a low quality blank to maximize profit margins as possible. And this is something that's forever going to go on in fashion and especially streetwear. This is something I want you guys to completely avoid because no matter how much you like the artwork, if you pick it up and it feels rough, it fits like shit, the stitching is off. I know when you go home and you put it through the laundry the first time, that thing is going to feel like it's going to stretch out and it's going to lose a lot of its sizing. And then you really feel like you got ripped off because you were suckered in just how great the artwork is. But objectively, you have to wear the whole thing and not just the graphic, not to insult your intelligence. Number 5, heavyweight items with low quality fabric. I've seen this done by a lot of brands that are in that basics and essentials space. What they tend to do is market their items as using more fabric. It's heavyweight, it's going to feel great, this and that. But objectively, what they're doing is they're taking that same fabric you would find in lower end tees, sweat, hoodies, and just adding more of it to make the item feel heavier. To skirt around paying that additional 20-30% for getting actual quality fabrics. So when you pick it up, it objectively feels like, oh my God, it's a lot higher quality because it's heavier than the other one. So that means they must have used a better product. And it's really kind of a red herring here where you think you're objectively getting something better just because it feels like it to the touch when all those fabric properties are the same. If it's still cheap and low end, those threads are going to come out, it's going to pile, it's probably going to be a lint magnet, and it's probably going to discolor quite quickly, but they can skirt around paying that additional 20-30% on production costs to get an actual higher quality fabric to maximize profits and maximize their advertising and presenting. And there you guys have it, 5 ways that clothing brands are ripping you off. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop and there you guys have it, 5 ways that clothing brands are ripping you guys off. If you guys made it this far into the video, be sure to drop a like, comment your opinion down below. And if you watched this far into the video, you're way more serious about dressing better, looking better, and ultimately being better. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to check out some of my other videos on screen right now. Peace.